You know, somewhere's people waking up, so I say good morning, good afternoon. Some people are getting ready to enjoy their evening. Somewhere it's nighttime, and somewhere it's 5 o'clock. So let's jump into the conversation today about our Florida State Seminoles on a Friday night, and we played NC State. And of course, we lost the game. Very disheartening to me. And I will say this. NC State has always been one of the tougher places to play for the Florida State Seminoles, and I'm not going to never discount that. Started in 1998 when the second-ranked Florida State team came in there and got beat. And I will say this for the record. In 1998, Florida State was so good, they lost the national championship game by 7 points. If Chris Winkie plays, and I want you to read my lips when I say this, they blow Tennessee out the water. 2000, they went in there and smoked them. And, you know, after that, Bowden took some teams in there. It was a house of horrors. Obviously, for Jimbo Fisher, he dropped one there in 2012 when they were number 3. And, of course, it has been a very, very tough pace to play. So, not going to get mad about the 21-11, but Florida State had their chances in this game, and we fall to 5-6, and NC State moves to 6-5. Dave Doran, don't know if he's coming back, know if he's retired or be fired, but NC State is NC State. They're going to struggle. Anything you do at North Carolina State is not sustainable for a long period of time, and it's just the fact of the matter. It's not talking to nobody, but NC State's a program that is going to go places, but it's not going to go where I think some people think it should go. It just is what it is. But we had one more first down than them. They were 7-16. We were 5 of 12. We were 1 of 2 on fourth down, and they were 2 of 2. Total yards, again, obviously we're going to dominate that. We had 383 to 286. So we had almost 100 yards more. Passing 152 to 203. So we were 51 yards better than them in passing. Rushing, we had 180 to 134. Again, but NC State almost dominated time of, not almost, 32 minutes and 57 seconds to 27:03. But Florida State, again, on the road, Mike Norvell led team, will produce 4 turnovers, 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions. And we had 8 penalties for 37 yards, as NC State had 3 for 30. And there's your ball game. Turnovers and penalties, when you could have won, but you're not going to win because you're coached by Mike Norvell and his coaching staff. Quarterback, C.J. Bailey had 152 yards. He was averaging 6.1 yards a pass. He was 18 of 25 with 2 touchdowns. Running game, 21 for 84. Smothers, he averaged 4 yards a carry. And Wilson had the rushing touchdown. The receiver core, pretty mid at best. They had 2 touchdowns between 2 receivers. 1 defender had a total of 15 tackles. 1 had a total of 12. So they had some players. They played and they won. Again, Florida State, Tommy, 16 of 32. That means he dropped back and threw the ball out of his hand 32 times and only had 203 yards, 6.3 attempts, and 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 59.0 rating. I want you to understand this. In my era, if a quarterback dropped back 32 times, he had at least, on a bad day, 250 yards. This quarterback only completed 16 passes for 203 yards. I've never been a fan of Gus Malzahn and his offense. I've never been a fan. Most of Gus Malzahn's success came from Cam Newton, which Cam Newton is a freak. 6'5", 240, ran a 4.49, 4.5 40. Grown man. Nick Marshall is bigger than our quarterback. Jeremy Johnson, huge man. Bo Nix, huge man. Tommy Castanello fits his offense, but Tommy can't take hits because he's built like a scat back or a small slot receiver. Not calling him out, just making a statement. And you drop back. Honestly, I'm not even mad at this because this is what they do in the NFL. Guys drop back 32 times, and this is what they do. They only throw the ball for that many yards. Tommy had 76-yard rushing to lead the way. Deuce Robinson was 4 for 74, 1 touchdown. So, can't get mad. We had a lot of guys get tackles, but no one averaged double digits, even solo or total. We did produce some sacks, but overall, it's just 4 total sacks, so not going to be mad there. No turnovers. And the muff punts, the 2 bad punts is bad enough. But when I think about this game, I think about some kind of way you got to get back to playing on Thursday night. Get away from Friday night. You play 1 game on Thursday night. That's it. You don't play 2 games on Friday night. That's stupid. The AD, the administration, and the coach can't do it. And then you come out here fighting for your job against a team that was 5-5, a coach a lot of people think is going to resign or going to get fired. And he may come back against a team that's not very good, but they find a way to win because our coach does not have our players ready, and we have a lot of mental errors, and we make a lot of mistakes. So it is what it is in that aspect, but hey, that's life. If you watch the game, it was on a Friday night. Coulda, shoulda. Florida State right now at worst should be 10-1 or 9-2. At worst. I will give you, Miami was clearly better. They fought. And that's just because Mario pumped the brakes and stopped it. I know they like to say we fought hard and baby, Miami could have scored 100 on y'all. They were killing y'all every which way but loose. They were killing the tight end. Their tight ends were killing your linebacker, and their wide receivers were torching your secondary. But Mario called the dogs off, and y'all kept playing because clearly you won at the game. And maybe Virginia. Other than that, I don't even get it. Why is Mike Norvell still the coach? He is terrible. Man, you don't even have to give me his 10.5, whatever he make. Give me $2 million. And let me take his $8 million. The rest is I had the best staff in America. Recruiting and developing. And I won't need 3 years. Give me 2. Because the first year is my first year. But that second year, 8-9 wins minimum. Like, this is ridiculous. I ain't going to say you should be undefeated. And every year, Florida State standard is 11-1, 12-0. And I know people say you can't say that. No, Peter Warwick said it too. Peter Warwick said it too. Said it's Florida State. We expect to go 12-0. You should be at worst right now after tonight. You should literally be 9-2 going into Gainesville. But you're not because you have the worst coach in football. You have a coach that cannot recruit. And that's not to take away from him having a great backfield. He cannot develop quarterbacks. His system, Gus Malzahn's system, whatever, it does not work in Tallahassee. He just cannot develop. There's no quarterback he signed, and he do Glenn wrong. So what does that say about Glenn? And Glenn's loyal. Glenn was a 4-star recruit, Elite 11 quarterback, and he literally pisses on him every chance he get. Just saying. So I'm not going to hold y'all up no longer, but you have to look at it. When you're not good, you're undisciplined, you find ways to lose. Florida State don't find ways to win. With Mike Norvell, it's worse than Willie Taggart because they just find ways to win. Willie, be honest, Willie never had a chance. That coaching staff he hired never had a chance. And Willie teams not only were out-coached, outclassed, they were beat before the game started. And then in the weight room, they wasn't getting better. So literally players were getting pushed around. Linebackers couldn't tackle. They couldn't get off blocks. Like, we were just weak. Mike is just terrible. If it wasn't for Coach Storm, he probably would have been fired because he can't coach. But the guys are physical. Right now, we can't generate pressure from our ends, and we can't cover a linebacker on defense. And that's a problem to me, because you mean to tell me you can't walk in no house in America and look at a guy that play a little defense, but he's a big running back, he's got 500-600 yards, not being recruited, and say, son, I'm going to put you either at end or linebacker, and you'll hear your name called on draft day. You can't sell that? You can't look at a tight end, a guy like Lawrence Timmons that played both sides in high school, and say, son, I know you're an athletic tight end, but we going to develop you, and you'll put your hand in the ground, and you're going to get to the quarterback so much, they're going to take you with a top 5 draft pick. Like, and it's not about 4 and 5 star. You mean to tell me from Birmingham, Dade County, Jacksonville, Fort Myers, Pascagoula, Clarksdale, Warner Robinson, Dallas, South, North Houston, Las Vegas, you can't find one guy that can get pressure on the quarterback? That's what bothers me. You got a brand, you can walk into any house in America, and you losing players to South Florida, Central Florida, East, West, Directional School, Miles, Stillman, Grambling, and Stillman ain't got a team. No, Mike Norvell be losing players to doggone Bethune-Cookman. Come on, man. You mean to tell me you can't go in Dade County with that guard and goal on and talk to Luke and find a dog that can rush the quarterback you can coach and develop? Maybe a cat that's undersized but heart. Maybe a linebacker that's 6 foot 210. You can't find no Bob Marleys? Come on, man. That's my problem with Mike Norvell. That's what separated Jimbo. That's what separated Coach Bowden. It wasn't always getting the Peter Warwicks and the Dion. It was getting them guys like Michael Boulware, Peter Boulware, getting the Anquan Boldens, the Jamal Reynolds, the Tommy Polley. It was about getting them doggone Dexter Jackson out of Quincy, Florida. Game changer. The Warwick Dunn. Warwick Dunn was a high school quarterback. You got to want to recruit, man. Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, Urban Meyer, Ryan Day, Bobby Bowden, Bear Bryant, Jimbo Fisher, Pete Carroll, Eddie Robinson, Charlie Strong, Kevin Steele, Kendall Browse. Them guys recruiting, they sleep. It's other coaches. I mean, I'm not getting them all, but you got to want to recruit, man. You got to want to go to people's houses, talk to their mamas, their dad, go to their school. You got to be able to sell your program, because basically, you as a coach, you selling your kids, your family, your beliefs, and you selling the fact you can develop people for pro. NIL, yeah, you going to pay you, but ultimately, NIL at these top schools, NIL ain't the deciding factor. Mario Cristobal can recruit. Kids love to be around him. He's magnetic. Now, yeah, he got a boring offense and he's very basic and he's very vanilla, but he can recruit. He can convince kids to come play for Miami. He can convince them about the future and the trajectory. Mike Norvell can't do that. He can't go out and look at a child and say, man, you mean to tell me you go to Central Florida when you come to Florida State and contend for ACC championship, playoff berth? He can't do that. Because if he could, we wouldn't be worried about linebackers and DN. Yeah, we may not get the guys at the 4 and 5 star level, but man, you can recruit and develop a player. You can take a tight end and put 20 more pounds on me. Warren Sapp was a tight end. He just kept gaining weight. Huh? Kellen Winslow was a wide receiver. Like, the shit ain't hard. You can find guys and you can put the weight on them, take the weight off, get the quickness, and you put them in the game. You can't sit here and keep drawing your head on, I got to have a 4-star, 5-star, because you can't get them. KJ Bolden, the kid went to Georgia, said, I'd never go to Florida State because I can't be developed. You got to find guys and develop them, and you can't do it because you're terrible. You're a terrible coach and a terrible man, and you suck. Not going to rant no more. Florida State drops to NC State. Again, appreciate the people that appreciate you. Tell the people that love you, you love them. Be thankful. Be grateful. If you have a tape, do be kind and rewind. Make sure you let your children, your siblings, and your parents know that you love them. Be grateful for all the gifts that God gave you and enjoy life. I say this often. I live in Birmingham, Alabama. It's senseless acts of violence every day. I have to already deal with that. People being killed, crashing their cars, folks dying from diseases and sickness, and then old age and health and accident. So cherish your life. Cherish the air in your lungs and your body, and make sure everybody know that you know they care about you. And everything will work out, and I'll check out with y'all again. So be good, be great. I love you. Go Noles. I don't even know if I want them to beat the Gators. I don't even know. Because Mike Norvell's terrible. But I'll check you later.